Imagine standing on a lonely shore, knowing that in just a few hours, an army of 50,000 deadly warriors will storm the land. You have only 200 men at your side. No reinforcements are coming. No way to escape. Only two options: fight to the last breath or be wiped from history. This is not a legend. This is real history. A battle so incredible that it defies all logic. How did a tiny group of samurai warriors face the unstoppable Mongol Empire and survive? And how did they manage to turn the tide of history against the greatest invasion force of the time? Stay with me till the end of this video because what happens in this battle is one of the most unbelievable last stands in history. To understand how this impossible battle happened, we need to go back to the year 1274. The Mongol Empire, led by Kublai Khan, was the most powerful military force on the planet. It had already conquered China, Korea, and much of Asia. But Kublai Khan wanted more. He set his sights on Japan, a small island nation that had never seen an enemy like the Mongols before. At that time, Japan was ruled by the Kamakura shogunate, a warrior government controlled by the samurai class. The Japanese were skilled fighters, but they had never faced an army like the Mongols, who fought with massive numbers, brutal tactics, and advanced siege weapons. In 1274, Kublai Khan sent a fleet of 900 ships carrying 40,000 Mongol, Chinese, and Korean warriors. Their first target? The southern island of Tsushima, a small island that stood directly in their path to mainland Japan. This is where our 200 samurai come in. The defense of Tsushima fell to Sō Sukekuni, the island's governor. He was a seasoned samurai, a warrior who had spent his entire life in battle. But even he must have realized the hopelessness of his situation. Tsushima was a small, isolated island. It had no large army, no castles, and no way to call for help. The only thing standing between the Mongol invasion force and total domination of Japan was Sō Sukekuni and his 200 samurai warriors. But these weren't just any soldiers. These were the elite samurai of Japan, warriors who lived by the code of Bushido, the way of the warrior. They were trained to fight to the death rather than surrender. And that is exactly what they did. As the Mongol fleet approached Tsushima, the samurai prepared for battle. Unlike the Mongols who fought in massive coordinated units, the samurai relied on one-on-one duels and individual combat skills. When the Mongols landed on the shores of Tsushima, Sō Sukekuni and his 200 warriors rode straight into battle. They charged the enemy head-on, cutting through the first wave of invaders with deadly precision. At first, the Mongols were surprised. The samurai fought differently than the enemies they were used to. Instead of overwhelming numbers, the Japanese warriors used speed, skill, and discipline to slice through the enemy ranks. But the Mongols were not ordinary soldiers. They quickly adapted. Instead of fighting one-on-one, they surrounded the samurai and rained arrows from all directions. They used explosives and gunpowder weapons, something the Japanese had never seen before. The battlefield turned into a bloodbath. One by one, the samurai fell under the sheer weight of numbers. But they refused to back down. They fought to the last man, refusing to surrender, refusing to run. In the end, all 200 samurai, including Sō Sukekuni, were killed. But their sacrifice was not in vain. You might be wondering, if the samurai were completely wiped out, how did they stop the Mongols? The answer lies in time. The Mongols thought Tsushima would fall in hours. Instead, it took them days to fight through the small island. The delay allowed Japan's main forces to prepare. The warning reached the mainland, and the samurai of Kyushu, Japan's southern island, rushed to defend the coast. When the Mongols finally reached Hakata Bay, they were met by a massive Japanese army that was ready for them. The Japanese had rebuilt their defenses, strengthened their numbers, and changed their tactics. But even then, the Mongols might have won, if not for one final twist of fate. A typhoon, a massive storm, swept through the Mongol fleet, destroying hundreds of ships and forcing the survivors to retreat. The Japanese believed this storm was divine intervention. They called it the kamikaze, or divine wind, sent by the gods to protect Japan. And just like that, the greatest invasion force of its time was defeated. The Battle of Tsushima became legendary. Even though Sō Sukekuni and his warriors all died, Their last stand bought Japan enough time to save itself. Their sacrifice was not forgotten. In 1281, Kublai Khan tried to invade Japan again, this time with 140,000 men, the largest amphibious invasion in history before D-Day. But once again, a kamikaze storm destroyed the Mongol fleet, ending their invasion forever. Japan remained unconquered. The 200 samurai who stood against 50,000 Mongols are remembered as true warriors who fought to the death for their homeland. Their stand against impossible odds became a symbol of loyalty, bravery, and the samurai spirit. Even today, their story is told in books, movies, and history lessons. They were more than warriors, they were legends. The story of these 200 samurai proves that sometimes, even the smallest force can change history. They may have lost the battle, but in the end, they helped save their entire country. What do you think? Would you have stood your ground if you were in their place? Let me know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video and want to hear more about epic historical battles, make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new story. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.